We welcome you all to the south end zone of Kyle Field here in late August, and what that means is a new athletics season is cranking up at Texas A&M. With that, I am Will Johnson with Andrew Monaco and our Director of Athletics, Ross Bjork, and I was very close to saying welcome back to another Aggie Town Hall when we got this going, but
I owe you money. I thought he would.
You thought I know.
He had the utmost confidence in you.
And why did I know you would bet against me?
I just had to write the new title at the top.
I did too.
That way we can remember it here.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same format we've always gone through, but rebranded, renamed. This is the Yellen Review with our Director of Athletics, Ross Bjork. And it's all part of kind of a new initiative you're coming up with as we move forward in the future, but it still is all about communication with that 12th man, which we know as the best fan base in the country.
Right. And if people remember, if they've been watching this, I know at least one person has watched this from the beginning. We know Sutton is out there somewhere watching this in the cyberspace world. We started this when we got shut down when COVID hit. We started this in the spring of 2020. And it started out as kind of a media gathering, and then it was just the three of us. I think Mike Wright was involved, and then the three of us, continued it. And it was, okay, town hall. Let's submit questions. And then we also had a monthly email that was sent out called From the Desk of Ross Bjork. And I thought, you know what? It's a new year. Let's repackage this kind of under one umbrella. And then also what we want to do is we want to do more maybe timely, maybe quick 60-second, 90-second videos. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's a new initiative. Next week we want to show off our new walk. I guess we're calling March In, March Out, which is Amazon technology, a new concession platform. So we're going to show that next week. So we thought, let's package this under one umbrella. Let's call it one thing. And it's going to be this format, which is really a town hall type discussion. It's going to be the email blast, and it's going to be some maybe quick snippets that may come up. It may be a tweet. It may be a video. It may be you guys walking around with me, and we're going out to the new site of the indoor football complex, and we're seeing jackhammers or steel going up. Those are the kind of things we want to do, and it's all under – so Aggies yell, so we know that's appropriate, right? We're yelling out information. And we'll also review information that happened in the past. So yell and review we thought was appropriate. We thought it obviously fits in to our traditions here at Texas A&M. And so we're not going to be yelling at anyone. We're not going to be officially reviewing like on a review stand for the Corps as they're marching. But all of these things fit perfectly with A&M. And so here we go, the debut of the Yellen Review.
That's right, and it coincides with the debut of the 2022-2023 athletic season, which is underway. Soccer is off to a 1-0-1 start. Actually, the draw was a pretty nice one. They go to Clemson, the nationally ranked team, 0-0 there. Always have to change that to 0-0 there. Then they whipped McNeese pretty good here at home. So they're off and running. Volleyball begins on Friday with a fantastic Texas A&M Invitational. 3 excellent opponents to get that season going. Cross country will soon have their first meet. Football is going to kick off September 3rd. And you always say, it's here. And
Was it Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And,
here we go.
So, I mean, off and running, and, maybe August for everybody here, 12th Man Productions, athletics as a whole, can be your busiest month to really ramp up into things to kick off that fall.
Yeah, I think people forget, all the things that go into it, right? It's not just practicing with the team. It's cleaning the stadium. It's maybe there's a project or two that has to be done, like we're doing these Amazon platforms. Those things are wrapping up. You've got maybe some new technology. We've got the 12th Man Rewards program, right, where if you attend athletic events, you can collect points, and it's all an app-based program. We've got these beacons that when you walk in, it really syncs with your phone. So there's technology coming. People forget that there's a lot of administrative things, if you will. I was walking around a little bit with Scott Obergerfeld, our head of our facilities, our associate AD for facilities, and I'm like, okay, we're about 10 days out, and he's like, I need all 10 days. Like, we need every minute to get things ready, to clean things, last-minute checks, to make sure that we're all prepped and ready for not only football, but like you said, the other sports are gearing up. Volleyball tips off on Friday. I'm really excited to see our team. It's really a new team. A lot of, I think, 10 newcomers, transfers, and incoming freshmen. So let's get back on track in volleyball. Soccer, like you said, is off to a great start. And so I always say Happy New Year. It's kind of, maybe it's goofy. Maybe people don't quite get it because it's not January 1st, but
I find it accurate.
Here we go. It's accurate.
It is very accurate.
And there's always this renewed excitement, right? I mean, that's the cool thing about college sports is, hey, we can always say, hey, next year. Well, it is. It's next year, and we're starting, and there's always going to be some new confidence and new energy, and there's a lot of new pieces and parts to our program, and just can't wait to get it going even more so.
Yeah. And we had to discuss the name change and the rebranding of this format to the Yell and Review with Ross Bjork. We had to discuss the new athletic season that has cranked up here, and we certainly have to get to questions submitted by the 12th man.
Right.
But before we do, one more thing that we can't continue without diving into this. If you didn't watch the Golf Channel on Sunday and you're an Aggie, shame on you because you missed out on a lot. Sam Bennett, you almost get goosebumps when you think back to it. He is the U.S. Amateur Champion. And what I think, first of all, with what Sam did on Sunday winning that title, I think it is so cool that Sam Bennett is now the winner of a tournament whose past winners include Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Phil Mickelson, and Tiger Woods. That's basically the Mount Rushmore of golf, whose name's on that trophy. Yeah. And now Sam Bennett, our Aggie, is on it too.
And just, you're exactly right. Elite company, just all across the board. And what is it, 122 years, I think?
Correct.
This was the 122nd amateur. So to have that history of your name on that trophy, and he gets to keep the trophy for a year. And so he'll have that to showcase, I guess, whether it's recruiting, that'll definitely help. Yeah. Whether it's celebrations, we're working on a way to celebrate him, perhaps sometime this week. So we'll have further news on that. Obviously, we'll recognize him at a football game this season to make sure the Aggies can show their appreciation for what Sam has done. But then you go to his story. He lost his father and persevered through illness of his father, and he's got a tattoo on his left forearm of really the last note that his dad, wrote him. And as somebody who has recently lost my father, I know what that must have been like to be on that championship trophy celebration and to be thinking about his dad and, how his dad supported him. And so just an unbelievable, great young man who represents all the things that we talk about here at Texas A&M, all the values, all the spirit, the competitiveness. He's a darn good golfer, obviously, but I think he's even a better human being. Yeah. And that's what I think people relate to. I mean, I was on a text thread with like 25 different Aggies, and they're glued to the TV. High-end donors, administrators, they're just like, okay, he's got to hang in there. All right, let's finish this off. Oh, dang. He missed that putt. Oh, he hit it. It was unbelievable, people paying attention to this. So really cool. And then to have Coach Corton on the bag.
Congratulations
as the caddy.
Too.
What a great, again, recruiting tool.
Right.
To be able to have your head coach there, have Brian there. Brian can talk about it to recruits. Say, look, you come to A&M. One, I'm a pretty good caddy as the head coach. Two, we're going to put you in position to win these U.S. Amateur tournaments. So just a neat moment, and I could go on and on about it, but I think it's so special.
Bigger.
People don't realize how really big it is.
How really big it is.
Deal. Yeah. To win that tournament.
When he talks about the Mount Rushmore, bigger picture for you, the student athletes, the competition. Sam said, "Look, last year I was playing angry. I was angry on the golf course, and every time I looked at that quote, I got angrier. I'm not playing well, and I don't have my father. Yeah. But then something changed. Yeah. Right, and that's what you love about student athletics, student athletes themselves. They can change. They're not the same when they come in, when they come out. You always talk about opportunities. I know this is a large opportunity, but here's someone who said, I've got to change this. He does, and now he's 122nd U.S. Amateur champ.
and could have left, turned pro, and then
had every reason to, right?
Trying to achieve his tournament card and PGA card and all those things, and decided, you know what? I love A&M.
That's where his peace was, he said, with his teammates and with Coach Corton.
I want to be a college student as long as possible. The pro game can wait, because he didn't have to come back.
No.
And when Coach Corton said he's coming back, it's like, really? Why? Here's why. His love of A&M, his teammates, the program, his relationship with Coach Corton, all those things matter. So really, really, really neat story to celebrate Sam Bennett.
I have a feeling 100,000 will be a great standing ovation for him.
Oh, man.
I think
he's going to feel every bit of it.
People will.
And do you pull up at every tournament with that in the right side of your golf cart?
Yeah.
Every fall tournament that they go to?
I think we can say this on here. Sam is 21 years old, but I saw an interview with him last night, and they were asking him how he's going to celebrate, and he said, I'm going to try to see how many beers I can fit in the cup. So maybe that could be the 12th man lager, Sam. We want you to be safe. We want you to be careful.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny to see him talking about that last night.
That's a pretty unique ring dunk. Yeah, could be. That's exactly right.
So happy, so proud of him.
That is great. Yeah, well done to Sam. Also well done to Coach Brian Cortan, as Sam is the winner of the 122nd U.S. Amateur. Well, the reason this format was created was for Ross to answer questions from you, the 12th man. If you ever have a question for Ross for a future Yell and Review, submit it at 12thman.com/ask Ross. You can do so at the official website of Texas A&M Athletics, and we have submittals here today. And the first one, our first Aggie that brought one to us, is the obvious choice. The guy that's been with us since the beginning that you referenced,
right.
Sutton Turner, Aggie class of 93, from College Station. He kind of called us out on Twitter.
He did.
We had forgotten that he submitted a question about 2 months ago, and we said, "Where's Sutton?" Well, he got wind of it, and he told us about it.
Okay. Because we didn't do one in July.
No.
We didn't do
you
a
took
town
some time
hall.
off. No.
So
Sutton, his way of saying, I was the leader in the clubhouse.
Right. All along. I mean, he always
Exactly.
is. So then we see Sutton. We were working on this master plan of rebranding it, the Yell and Review, and so we had to wait to get it right before we could get back to you. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But here he is. He's back. Sutton Turner will lead us off in this athletic season here in August. And Sutton's question revolves around realignment, television contracts. He said the first week of July 2022, USC and UCLA announced they'll enter the Big Ten and establish two massive conferences for TV contracts, being the SEC and Big Ten. This week, the Big Ten announced a historic $7 billion TV contract over 7 years. And he kind of goes back to something he's asked before. He says he wants to re-ask a question from January 2022. And it sounds like this. The ACC and the Alliance blew up the playoff expansion till at least the TV contract period ends. Do you think there will be pressure on non-SEC schools to join the Big Ten or SEC that domino into super conferences? Super conferences is in all caps. And now, Ross, your thoughts on where do we go from here?
Boy, how much time do we have?
Sutton came out firing.
Yeah.
We have at least 7 years, right? The life of that contract.
That's right, 7 years. So there's a lot to unpack here, obviously, with what happened on, I guess it was on June 30th. That's when UCLA and USC joined. And I think you just got to take a step back to what the SEC did in the summer of 2021. And as much angst that we had around really more how it happened versus what the outcome was, because we knew college athletics was going to evolve, and we knew that the SEC was going to be a leader at the forefront, and we knew that something was going to give within the Big 12 around Texas and Oklahoma. Where were they going to go? And so the SEC, we decided that the best place, as all of this sort of kind of happens around us, is they should be in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Let's get Texas and Oklahoma. So just think if that would not have happened, and then all of a sudden UCLA and USC would have happened, then there would have been, I think, mass chaos after July 1st of this year if we didn't make the move in the summer of 2021. So I think you've got to take a step back to all of that. It's pretty fascinating that week of June 30th, I was at NACDA, our AD convention, and I was with a lot of Pac-12 ADs. I was with Commissioner Sankey at a dinner on, Tuesday night that week. There was other ACC ADs there. There was other SEC ADs there, Pac-12 ADs, some Big 12 ADs, and it was just a dinner of colleagues, and no one had any clue what was about to happen on Thursday. Nobody. No one was talking about it. There was somebody off in the corner talking on their cell phone. Like, no one had any clue. It was very collegial, just talking about college sports and just coming back together. It was the first AD convention we had since 2019. And so it was just a way to really come back together. And then Thursday blows up, and everybody, especially in the Power Five, was on their phones all day Thursday, all throughout the weekend, going, okay, where's all this going to go? Where's all this going to lead to? And so to answer his question, do I think that there'll be pressure on non-SEC schools to join the Big Ten or SEC? Yes, I believe so, because you look at the TV value that is taking place. However, it's not that easy, right? It's not that easy to say that we want to be a 24-team league, that meaning the SEC. The Big Ten's out there. There's news this week that maybe they're talking to some other programs out on the West Coast. I think the SEC can be in a very strategic position. And to me, you don't add just to add.
Right.
It's got to be very strategic. Obviously, it's very complicated with existing TV contracts and grant of rights and things like that. What no one really can answer about the term super conference is, what does that accomplish? It's easy to say, hey, we need the Power 5 to break off the top 65 or the top 75 programs or the top 100 or whatever, or let's take football and let's separate that from the NCAA. That's a conversation that's happening right now. But no one has articulated, what does that mean? What does that come with? And why do we want to do that? Is it rulemaking? Is it revenue? Is it college football playoff? Is it recruiting rules? Is it name, image, likeness? Is it student athlete scholarship structure? No one can answer that. And so, I mean, I was listening to an interview today with a Power 5 head coach driving in, and it was, we need a czar of college football. Why? And what does that accomplish? What are you gaining from that? And so I don't know if I see super conferences coming anytime soon. I think what we have to do right now is, there's a lot of work being done at the NCAA level to really sort of reformat and retool. It's under a transformation committee. Commissioner Sankey's actually co-chairing that. I think we need to have every effort to figure out, can we fix a lot of things within that structure? And I actually think that we can fix a lot of things. And then what does that yield? And then does that cause you to then have to take another step for whatever reason? One of the things about having football the way it is now under the CFP is the revenue doesn't touch the NCAA. So if we're worried about revenue, if we're worried about relevancy of college football, you've got the revenue separate, the money separate, the bowl system, the CFP separate. You commingle that, or you create a new avenue. Are you running any sort of risk there? Again, no one has been able to do that analysis. So I do know that the SEC and the Big Ten obviously have separated. We've separated ourselves from a TV standpoint, a revenue standpoint. We're obviously dominating the college football playoff as an SEC. Had a team in every year, champions, obviously consistently. So there is the competitive piece. There's the financial piece. But I don't know if I see there's like one domino or two dominoes yet to get us to a super conference. I think we have to get through some other TV negotiations through the Pac-12 and the Big 12. I think we have to get through this NCAA transformation. I think we have to see what happens with NIL legislation, whether that's continued state-by-state approach or maybe a federal approach. Then I think you'll see, okay, where are we? And then it may lead to something down the road. But right now I think there's a lot of work that has to be done, and there's a lot of clarity that can happen and should happen around some of the things that we're doing. And I want to see how those things play out, and I think a lot of my colleagues do, before there's a football czar or super conferences or let's break away college football, because we can't really articulate what does that mean and what does that accomplish and what are we gaining by that, and then what do we do about all of our other sports? What do I tell what do I tell Sam Bennett if I say, hey, I'm going to treat football differently over here, but you got to be treated like this? What does that mean for our other sports? So there's a lot, like I said, to unpack there. I think that was about a 7-minute answer or so. But it's critical to really the future of the enterprise of college sports.
You, as a director of athletics, you're reacting here because Fox has the Big Ten network. The reason why Maryland goes in and Rutgers goes in is the D.C. market and the New York market. They now have New York, L.A., Chicago, Detroit, D.C., San Francisco. Sports is still television programming. But you, as you just said, how does it apply for student athletics?
Right.
And it's like everybody says, how are you going to travel?
Right.
What are we going to do that way?
The last I checked, we start class tomorrow. Yeah. Right. We go to class. We have academic advisors. There's the student component, and that's not to sound, you have your head buried in the sand.
It's not Pollyanna-ish. No.
Any of that, but it's a college, university environment, and so that has to remain the most important thing. And then, do we need to do better? Can we restructure? Can we do some things that are modernizing college? Of course we can. But that's the question. I worked at UCLA. It was a long trip to go from L.A. to Seattle.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's not a short trip. Right? And so you imagine going from L.A. to Piscataway.
Talk about a
College
culture
Park,
shock.
Maryland, or State College, Pennsylvania. So those are the kind of things that make you say, okay, where are we going with all of this? And let's make sure we're still keeping the fundamentals of what we do, the main thing. So
you also have to battle rumors, don't you?
Oh, my gosh. Tons of rumors.
It's hard to
There's
answer.
Rumors, I mean, you could probably check Twitter right now, and there's probably some new element, some new rumor. Yesterday, it was Oregon, is communicating with the Big Ten. Yeah. And that spread like wildfire yesterday. And so what's accurate? Is that true? No one really knows. No one's going to acknowledge that they had a meeting like that, and so there's a lot of moving parts to it, and our job, stay on top of it, communicate with our commissioner. We have the best commissioner in college athletics, and we're obviously in a great position at Texas A&M being part of the SEC.
All I know is that UCLA-Rutgers game better not be at night for the sake of both schools.
That's exactly
Wonder what time either school gets back to L.A. or conversely New Jersey.
Wow.
Realignment is somewhat part of our next question. It comes from Patrick in McKinney, Texas. Deals with SEC realignment and what the schedule might look like once that is complete. He says that at SEC coaches meetings, Jimbo mentioned Mississippi State possibly as one of our 3 permanent rivals in the new scheduling format. He asks, is that for sure?
For sure. So the first thing that has to take place, Patrick, is we have to decide, are we staying at an 8-game model? And the 8-game model would be a 1-7 model, meaning we would have 1 permanent opponent and we would rotate the other 7. So that's one proposal. The other proposal is a 3-6 model. 3 permanent opponents, 6 rotational opponents, which means you're playing 9 conference games. So that would be a shift and increase in games. So the first thing is we as athletic directors have to make a recommendation to the presidents and chancellors. We haven't done that yet. There's still some analysis taking place right now before we decide. If we go to a 3-6 model, then they've shown us what our opponents could be. Texas, LSU, Mississippi State. That is one option. It's not done. It's not final. Things can be fluid. But the idea in that 3-6 option was really to protect primary rivalries and protect some secondary rivalries. And then really when you come down to it, who you play your 3 permanents really doesn't matter as much because you're rotating the other 6 more often. Within a 4-year period, you would play everybody home and away. Those other 6 opponents, so we're going to see a lot of really new teams, if you will, that we haven't seen on a regular basis in the SEC, no matter what format. So the first thing is, Patrick, we have to decide on 8 or 9. And then if it is 3-6, then we have been shown those 3 opponents. That could change. Has to be voted on. Presidents and chancellors have to review it. So there's still some work to be done, but that's one of the models that we've seen along the way.
Mm-hmm. Good question, Patrick. Thank you for that. And interesting one here. The final question submitted by the 12th man here today. And as always, remember you can submit questions for Ross for a future Yell and Review at 12thman.com/askross. And Michael B. Mecki, I believe, is how we're going to pronounce his last name. He's class of 61. He's out there in the beautiful hill country of Kerrville, Texas. So he's got a lengthy statement for you, Ross, and he put a question in the middle of it. I'm going to move the question to the back end of this. But first, he wants to congratulate you on a fantastic year in Aggie sports, including a wonderful start to our new Centennial Campaign Facilities Project ongoing here. We're proud and happy to have you leading our athletic program. You have us on a great trajectory. He threw his question in there, but I'm going to put it at the end because he has some suggestions for you. So he goes on, and again, he's out in the hill country, so he probably knows this pretty well. Texas is a great state for outdoor recreational sports, hunting, fishing, boating, camping, hiking, etc. Especially, I think he's telling you this, Ross. You need to treat yourself and your family to the beauty and southwestern flavor of the hill country and West Texas. He wants you to head on out to the Davis Mountains, the Guadalupe Mountains. You get elevations there all the way from 4,500 feet to 10,000 feet. So he's asking, what sports are you and your family's favorites to watch or participate in? Thank you, Michael, for all that.
Michael needs to be my tour guide.
Yeah,
we need to get Michael hooked up. But no, thank you, Michael, for the very kind words, and we love it here. What a great place! What a great place to live. And unfortunately, we haven't explored Texas as much as we've liked to, given.
But you were recently in Fredericksburg, right?
I was in Fredericksburg speaking at the A&M club over there. I'll talk about that here in a second, but. Haven't been able to really get out between. So what sports are you and your family favorite to watch? Obviously, we love all the college sports. We love going to all of our games. Football obviously gets a lot of attention in our household. Our oldest is playing football at A&M Consolidated. He's a junior wide receiver. They have their first game this Friday night. Friday Night Lights, starting up, 7 p.m. against the Huntsville Hornets. And so A&M Consol kicks off this Friday night, regular season. And then our youngest is into soccer and basketball. So he plays on a club team here in College Station soccer. They've already started some matches the last couple weekends. They have matches this weekend. So it's going to be a juggle between Friday Night Lights, Saturday, Sunday, Calvary soccer, and then, A&M sports, and making sure I get to all of those. So that takes up a lot of time. So that's what we – and then Sonia and I, we just love to stay active and fit, and so bike riding, running, things like that as a family. Have not made it out to the hill country to do these recreational activities. I did speak there in Fredericksburg. Great crowd, great energy. No one had really been out there from the athletic department in quite a long time to speak to that group, and so it worked out well. Went out there, got hosted by some terrific Aggies. Actually, they reached out to me on Twitter and said, hey, we're kind of reformatting our A&M club out here. Can you come out and speak and kind of do a season preview? And I'm like, absolutely. So we went out there a couple weeks ago, and just tons of energy, tons of excitement. You can feel – we talk about Happy New Year. Like, those people were fired up. I mean, they can't wait. They can't wait to get here to Aggie Land. And my message to them was, if I expect you to drive 3 hours, 3.5 to come to our games, the least I can do is come out there and see you and talk about Aggie sports. And so next time around, we'll take the Bronco out there, Ford Bronco. Ford is a sponsor.
Yep.
I did pay for it, by the way. Go out there in the Bronco and do all of these things. Right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you
camping,
what,
hiking,
take your backpack,
four-wheeling.
tents, sleeping bags.
You get into that hill country and you start thinking, man, this is a place that I can go to retire. You start looking at some land and some – it's a beautiful part.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. So that's a cool message here from Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for the question, and thanks for all the support.
And then it clicked in my head. You said, so A&M Consolidated opens against Huntsville.
I know.
And the A&M Aggies open against
Sam
Houston State Bearcats from Huntsville.
Right.
So it all fits together.
And I was thinking, orange. That's Sam Houston, but Huntsville is green.
They're green.
Yeah,
they're green.
Hornets, yeah,
they're the Hornets. So I'm like, had to kind of reconcile that a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because you think all you think of is orange, you think of Sam Houston. So
yes, you do.
Yeah,
the Huntsville Hornets and A&M Consolidated Tigers. So that's where I'll be.
Yep.
For the next, hopefully 11, 12 games plus playoffs.
The first playoffs. You get as many as 16.
That's right. So it'll be fun Friday nights.
Is the Consol College Station rivalry?
That game is back on.
Here is it?
It's at College Station High School.
College Station High, so that's on.
That game is back on.
Okay.
So A&M Consolidated moved up a division.
Right.
So now we're in the same district as College Station High School. I say we. I can obviously say that
as a family member.
Yes, I can say we.
You better believe it.
I can talk about it. This is not any compliance
Right.
issues. I can talk about my son. So that game, I don't think they played that game since 2017.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun
moment
for the city.
Okay. And almost time to go, but let's wrap this up because he mentioned the Centennial Campaign. Ongoing, if you drive along Wellborn, if you're on campus near Kyle Field, you mentioned the skyline will change. Well, your views have changed.
Already has.
One indoor facility is down. That's track, but a Centennial Campaign ongoing and that construction efforts, as you say, it's here.
Yeah, it's here. It's here. If you actually step over on West Campus, you've got the new indoor track going up right now, and they're actually pouring the footings for the new indoor track, and they're doing a lot of site work and prep, and we'll actually start to see some vertical aspects coming up over there on West Campus. They are clearing the old indoor track right next to Kyle Field here, so they're getting rid of all the rubble, and they've got to break up the concrete pad now, and then in October, we'll start to see some vertical elevation coming up for the new indoor football. And then this Friday, we'll have another announcement about another project that's related to all these projects, but it'll be inside Kyle Field. It'll be some premium seating opportunities for folks. So we'll unveil that and how all that works and the timing of everything. And then at the end of the football season, we'll tear down the current indoor football, and we'll start working on the Bright building, and we'll start building a new academic center. So lots happening. Aggie Park, can't forget about that. Aggie Park is under construction right now. It'll be ready. It'll be operational by the first game. There'll be some pieces that won't quite be finished, but as far as tailgating, as far as access, as far as the lake, as far as the bridge, Aggie Park is going to be ready as well. So I know our folks in the Association of Former Students, unbelievable job. The donors have stepped up to have that on game day. I don't think people realize what they're going to be walking into, just a whole new environment. So a lot of fun.
Speaking of Kerrville, Texas, that's where Robert Elkeen's from.
Yep.
One of his final concerts ever on tour.
Friday night.
We'll kick off Aggie Park September 2nd.
September 2nd, and then lead right into Yale practice.
Yep.
Going to be a lot of fun. So lots of things happening on this side of campus. Aggie Park, indoor football, indoor track, other projects to come.
You just proved why it's accurate. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That is exactly what is happening. But nice to kick off the Yell and Review. We always appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you all. Gig 'em Aggies.
All right, that's the Yell and Review with Ross Bjork. We are underway with the athletic season for 2022-2023 here in Aggieland. We will see you in September.